the Med City movie guy. He's everywhere you want him to be.
So you want to be in love like the movies, but in the movies they're not in love at all.
News Talk 1340 KROC-AM.
They're just saying their lines.
Thank you, David Brothers. It's Rochester's Good Morning. Rich Peterson, along with the Med City movie guy, Chris McSanick.
Gluten-free, that's me.
Are you really?
No.
Congratulations.
No, I'm not.
You're not gluten-free.
Except no sugar-free substances.
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's just
Looking forward to a Father's Day. And I noticed you got some regular backyard injuries out there, cutting branches.
Yeah, I got a bandage on my thumb, and that's
tip of the day. Get your thumb
injury.
out of the way from the saw.
Yeah. Or if you don't do that, you'll never have the problem again. Because the thumb will be on the brush pile. It's a tough thing.
It is. All right. Well, it's Father's Day. We're going to talk about some of the some great famous Father's Day movies. I'm trying to think of.
Well, famous fathers.
Oh, famous fathers. Okay.
Famous fathers. Well, I actually,
most of the famous fathers I think about TV shows. You got Andy Griffith. And,
and, Mr. C from Mr. Cunningham. Yeah, there's tough Father Knows Best.
Sure.
There's tons of them.
Oh, yeah.
But
Ward Cleaver.
Ward, yeah, that's right. Ward. Leave it to Beaver.
Mm-hmm.
Ward, his father. When he retired from TV, I don't know why. This is one of those facts you hear and you never forget.
Yeah.
What's his name? Hugh Beaumont. When he retired, he moved to, I don't know if it was Michigan or Wisconsin, and started a Christmas tree farm.
Really?
Yeah, years ago. I don't know why.
He died a long time ago.
Yeah, he
of
died
cancer
a long
or
time
something.
ago.
But
He
Hugh
seemed like a
Beaumont,
nice guy.
Barbara Billingsley, Tony Dow, and Jerry Mathers as the Beaver.
And what about Eddie Cunningham? Was it not Eddie? Eddie Haskell.
Eddie Haskell.
He was awesome.
He was.
Oh, that was an interesting show.
If
you go back, it was on Netflix.
That was the first show ever to show a bathroom on TV.
Oh, you know what they had? And they had their own. The boys had their own bathroom.
Yeah.
I was jealous. I grew up in a house. I had
one bathroom, and you had to wait in a line.
Oh, you had one bathroom at least.
Yeah.
And you waited in line inside the house. So you had a good.
You don't give me that. You had an outdoor Biffy.
Biffy, yeah, Biffy. Well, anyway, so obviously there's a lot of famous fathers on the little screen, but a couple of years ago, Things Remembered, the store in the mall, had done a survey of what they thought the best famous movie dads were, and I'll just take a couple guesses and then I'll let you know how you do.
Oh, come on now.
Okay. So
famous movie dads?
Sure. Well, I'll throw the number one out there. Chevy Chase in Vacation. Clark Griswold.
Okay.
I think a lot of people would give you that one.
I'll give you that one. Yeah, mostly the comedy. Just right now there's just so many movies going through my head that I can't singular.
Mufasa in The Lion King. Famous dad.
See, no, I didn't think about that.
See, no, you wouldn't think of that.
No.
Here's one that we see at least 30 times a year, usually at Christmas. George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, of course. How could I forget about George Bailey? And then how about the Mermaid's dad in Little Mermaid? He was a good guy. They had the trident.
Well, that didn't make the list.
What?
But something close to it. Marlin, who was the father in Finding Nemo, made the list. Yeah. Let's see.
I like the other dad better.
You like the trident, I know. Jack Butler, Michael Keaton, and Mr. Mom. I think that was okay.
Oh, yeah.
The two most obvious ones to me. Well, they're not that. They're obvious because I've got them written down right in front of me.
Sure.
Darth Vader, Star Wars.
I am your father, Luke.
That's right. And
I don't know if he was a good dad, though.
No, he was.
He may not have been a good one.
Would he have made?
But he's a famous one.
He is a famous one. Yeah, this didn't say the best ones. This is well, actually, no, it did say the best movie dads. Well, that's interesting. And then another anti-hero, they would call him as a movie dad, Don Corleone, the Godfather. So he was one of the best ones.
Of course. Nice guy. Just stay on his good side.
A couple that didn't make that list that I had that I think a lot of people might agree with. Thornton Mellon, that's Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School. So what kind of great dad would go to school with you just to make sure you finished up? That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty good.
And then my wife reminded me this morning about Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Burl Ives was Big Daddy in that one, and that was.
I forgot all about that one too. There's a lot of dads that just kind of go by the wayside.
That's right.
Dads are forgotten.
They are. They get the big piece of chicken, maybe.
That's right.
And that's it at dinner time.
They blame certain things on the dog a lot, and they say that. Say that again, I'll turn this car right around.
I know. See, now I heard that on the way in, and I'm like, see, I didn't have that kind of dad. My dad just had that long reach, and we just got smacked.
Yeah, I can reach it. I can still reach it back there.
He was always able to.
I was always on the hump.
Yeah. Oh, the hump. Oh, yeah.
In the middle of the back seat. I had two brothers.
Okay. Yeah. See, I was the youngest of them, and I was in the middle.
One was left-handed, one was right-handed. So the lefty got dibs on the window behind Dad.
Well, that's
the driver's seat.
And you were.
And the other brother got the right, and I had to sit in the middle on the hump.
Yeah, and if they had the split seats in front of you, or did they have the bench seat? I don't know.
Bench.
Okay, bench, then you're safe. But if you had the split seat and then you were in the back, in the middle, then you are very vulnerable. I can tell you that.
I was vulnerable to both of my brothers because they were always, as soon as the folks weren't paying any attention, they'd throw an elbow.
Oh, okay, all right.
I got abused by my brothers as a kid. It was rough. Are you kidding?
Oh, I tell you.
We laugh about it now, but at the time, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I wasn't real happy.
Yeah. Well,
shut up, Richard.
So, the other thing we were going to talk about maybe was some baseball movies. I wanted to.
You brought a couple of baseball movies in with you.
I did
to give
DVDs.
away.
I did. Yeah. So one of them is one of the better ones. 42. It's the
Jackie Robinson
story, and Harrison Ford's in it as well. And it's a pretty recent, I guess I'd call it.
Yeah, maybe just last year.
Yeah, it is a year or two ago, and I think Harrison Ford does a good job. It's actually a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one's just arguably a baseball movie.
Well, there was a moment in there.
There was a baseball moment.
The
in
Untouchables.
The Untouchables. So if you're familiar with the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
It was around a dinner table, then a baseball bat came out.
A baseball bat came out. It was a metaphor, you know.
Yes.
But we were talking about baseball movies, and the reason was because my wife and I, we went down to Wrigley Field. Fun fact, what do they call a $12 beer at Wrigley Field? They call it the Small, by the way. But,
do they really?
Yeah, these prices are outrageous, aren't they?
Did you know we were talking earlier this morning, you can buy a leaf of Wrigley Field Ivy, which isn't really ivy, we found out. It's called Bittersweet.
Bittersweet, okay.
But you can buy a leaf for $200.
And do you smoke it, or what do you do?
I don't know. By the time you get there, by the time you get it through the mail, it'll be all dried out. Maybe if you plant it, and you can grow your own ivy.
So is it like a little sprig?
Or bittersweet.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know.
$100. Yeah. That's $100 seems high.
So what do we got? We're talking movies with Chris McSannick, the Med City Movie Guy. You can go to
TheMedCityMovieGuy.com.
All right.
Except no substitutes. Except no advertising in there, by the way.
There's not?
No.
But you're available.
No. It's not that at all. No, I mean, you're not going to, if you check it, you're not going to get inundated with pop-ups.
You don't have to make sure ad block is on.
No, ad block is irrelevant for the site. Right. Yeah, and so if you are interested in baseball movies or the Father's Day movies and things like that, there's visit there. There's more copious write-ups on these topics.
Sure. On the website. And if you are interested in one of the movies and have a favorite movie dad that you can recall, call us up at 282-1234.
And speaking of movie dads, Pirates of the Caribbean, as we know, Jack Sparrow's dad is, Keith Richards, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Have you seen the new one?
I have not seen the new one. I stopped seeing them after the third one. I got to tell you, and I probably should be more open-minded to some of these things, but frankly, some of the superheroes things, these things have gone on, I think, a little too long, and I'm not as much fatigued as I guess I'm bored with it, and it just seems like studios are just milking these franchises or universes. Now, I don't know if you've been following this, but DC comics, Marvel comics, they'll have these universes. So
Right.
they're not necessarily sequels. There's all these movies that sort of intersect. And one of the newest ones, Universal now has, it's called the Monsterverse or the Dark Universe. I've actually heard both terms, but there's a launch of all the old Universal monsters. So one of them started last week with Tom Cruise's The Mummy. So we'll see where that one goes.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of other. There's going to be an Invisible Man movie with Johnny Depp, and there's going to be a Frankenstein version, Wolfman, things like that. So we'll see where that
Actually,
goes.
I'd rather see those than some of these superhero movies. But
Well, I'd rather see the originals because this Mummy reboot that opened last week, I didn't like it
No
at
good?
all. No, Tom Cruise is great. He's always good, but it just didn't fit.
hi, you're on the air on KROC. Who's this?
This is Rick.
Hey, Rick. Got a
Favorite movie, Dad?
Yeah.
Atticus in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, yeah,
gosh.
Gregory Peck.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
Perfect. Hey, do you want the 42 movie, Jackie Robinson story, or you want the Untouchables, one of the great baseball movies of all time?
Untouchable.
Okay. Untouchables. There's about a 15-second baseball scene in there for you. Might go on a little longer than that, but anyway, so give me your name again.
Rick Wood.
All right, Rick. We got the movie for you at the front desk down right here at the studio. Do you know where we're located?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Bye.
Another famous.
Atticus.
Yeah, Atticus Finch. Another, and that was number 4 on the Things Remembered list.
You know, another one is what's the movie where the aliens come in and
Born in East L.A.
no, but the same guy that from Philly. Okay. I should stop with these little thoughts that go through my head. And
No, absolutely. This is inspiration is born.
The president used to be a pilot and ends up piloting one of the craft.
Oh, is this Armageddon? No, not Armageddon.
Close
Independence
to it.
Day?
Independence
There
Day,
you
that's
go.
what it is. He was the president of the United States, and he was a good dad because his daughter was, took care of his little girl. Well, he had other people do it.
Opening today, Cars 3. What do you think about that?
I'm sure we'll probably see it
Yeah.
with the grandkids.
I'm actually, I'm looking forward to it.
Got Owen Wilson in there.
Yeah, and I've actually heard early buzz on this is that it's the best of all 3 films.
Really?
I was not a huge fan of Cars 2. Cars 2 had an interesting twist because it was sort of a British spy thing. There was like a little British import. They were doing a race in Europe, and they had to do a little mystique, and that was kind of fun. But we'll see where this one goes. But it is supposed to be one of the better ones.
There's a scary one out there, or a thriller, I guess, with the sharks.
Right, so that was
47 meters down.
47 meters down, and again, the metric system strikes again, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. How do they use metric? I don't know why they made it. I guess that sounds...
Everything in water, they always use meters.
Fathoms. I'm not fathoms. Aren't they supposed to use fathoms? Isn't fathoms what they use?
Well, I guess not.
Or
not
leagues?
unless-
Leagues? Like 20,000 leagues under the sea?
which was a great movie.
But not a good movie, Dad? I don't know. What is
Not a good movie, Dad, but
2 sisters vacationing in Mexico trapped in a shark tank. Actually, it sounds pretty hokey, but again, the buzz was that this is actually a pretty good film.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know. I'll let you know. So Cars 3, Rough Night. Rough Night's a comedy.
it's got Scarlett Johansson
Yes,
in
it
there,
does.
so it's probably pretty decent.
Another movie that's, I always have to check because it's a limited release, but it is showing at 2 of the theaters in town, Warenberg and Chateau.
Yeah.
It's called All Eyes on Me. This is the 2-pack bio, so that'll be interesting. See where that one goes.
Hi there, you're on the air at KROC with a Med City movie guy. Who's this?
John,
Hey, John.
how about Chevy Chase and those vacation?
There you
Yeah,
go.
we mentioned that. Yeah,
Clark Griswold.
Clark Griswold, exactly. Yeah, those are some.
He was
Oh, I
a,
didn't
Those are
hear you
some fun
mention it
movies.
earlier.
No, that's okay.
yeah, he was the number 1. Yeah.
Hey, you want the Jackie Robinson story movie?
Sure, why not?
All right. Give me your name again.
John,
John, we'll have it for you at the front desk.
thanks, Rich.
You bet. Thanks for
Bye.
listening. All right.
Another one on the list was Gil Buckman, the Steve Martin character in Parenthood. That was a Ron Howard film. Parenthood is a very, very funny and poignant movie, Parenthood. So if you haven't seen it, track it down. And if you have seen it, you know what we're talking about. It was a good movie. Very interesting movie. So so a lot of good things out still. Let's see.
So what do you think as far as movies that have been out for a while that you may not have seen yet?
Right. So Wonder Woman's killing it still. I mean, that killed the Mummy and things like that. So that's worth the watch. And I think didn't Hillary Clinton just compare herself to Wonder Woman?
I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
Or blamed it on not winning.
That's kind of like me when I say, me and Zac Efron. So let's. Baywatch was Baywatch.
Me and Howard Stern.
Baywatch was a lot of fun. That has Dwayne Johnson in it, and he does a great job. And I didn't think this was the best of a big screen treatment of a TV film. There's been better ones. Things like the Brady Bunch movie was really well done. Things like that. Some are better, some are worse.
There's a dad.
Oh yeah, sure, Mike Brady. Yeah, and we were talking about that, and then you brought up the Scooby-Doo inside story about the original R version of that, which would be. I wish we could track that down. That would be a hoot.
And I think the R version was that they just showed a little more cleavage. I think that was the R part. They CGI'd it.
Yeah.
Which means I guess you got rid of it. So have you seen the Baywatch movie?
Yes. So I think that was a lot of laughs. It's about what you expect. I mean, I didn't think that the TV show was that great. It's a fun concept. So I take what you will from the movie. I didn't think the movie was that great because I didn't think the TV show was that great. But I think Dwayne Johnson, very bankable character these days. Zac Efron as well. So that's a lot of fun. It's just what the women are romping around in slow motion, and the guys are, buff.
Watching them.
That's right, buff, and then they're solving some kind of mystery, crime in this case.
Well,
so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Captain Underpants, Guardians of the Galaxy. That did pretty well. That's still out there. I think next week is probably the bigger of the two. We've got coming up next week Transformers. And then the week after that is Despicable Me 3. That'll be big. The House. That sounds kind of fun. Will Ferrell, in order to help pay his daughter's college fund, they kind of have their own little casino.
Yeah.
And they kind of
should be good.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, I like the Despicable Me movies. For those cartoons, the characters are well done, and the minions are fun.
Yeah. Now see, it's funny because I think I don't particularly like the Minions. I think Gru is hysterical, but there must be something in the Minions because when I was at, I think it was Despicable Me 2, the Minions came out and you could hear the cackling from the little kids. I mean, they think they're hysterical. I love Gru with those little skinny legs and And in this one, he apparently has a twin brother who's very handsome, very successful.
Steve Carell do that voice too.
Yes, he does them both. Yeah.
The first time I saw that, I didn't even know that was him.
I know. He did it great, didn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah.
Well, we are out of time, but you can go want to check out some of the reviews, themedcitymovieguy.com, and I checked it out. No ads on there.
No ads. No
ads. None. However, does Goldie Hawn really still look that good? In Snatch?
CGI.
That'll work, too. She must be, 70-something by now?
Oh, ouch. I don't know, maybe. I thought you were joking.
No. I'm looking at her picture right now. Might have been dated. Anyway, no, it's right on your website.
It is.
Snatched.
For the review, yeah.
It's 2 minutes before 9 o'clock at KROC-AM. Have a great Father's Day, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
Are you one of the better dads around?
I like to think
movie
I boosted.
Dad? You're the best movie guy dad.
Yeah, I try to think I boosted up the rating up to third place.
I guess you'll find out on Sunday. We'll review that next month.
Yeah.
That's all for now. Visit my friend Chris Misanek, the Med City Movie Guy, on YouTube, Facebook, and at themedcitymovieguy.com.